everyone, welcome back to Miss Jones TV. I'm already giggling this morning because I asked Mr. Jones to give me a joke because, you know, I always do corny jokes. Well, he found this website full of them and I can't get him to stop. So every time that I start to film, he pops around the corner and he tells me another joke, and it's just fabulous. So he is responsible for the joke today. So that means he's even more corny than I am. Okay, so the joke today before we get started is, why did the boy throw his clock at the window? To watch time fly. He also told me, why did the cookie go to the nurse? Because it was feeling crummy. One more, I got it. Where do pencils come from? Pennsylvania. Oh gosh, okay. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. You can blame Mr. Jones for that one. All right, guys, we're going to start with math today. And today we're going to be on page 744. We're going to do this one together. Again, we're with shapes. After this week, we're going to wrap up our shapes unit. And then next week, we're going to start with fractions. Okay, so 744, we are looking at different objects that match the name. This is just a review to kind of get your brains thinking about it. Make sure you remember about shapes, and then you're going to do a page on your own, okay? So here we go. Page 744 at the top, guys. I can turn my book around. We have a shape here. And it's a cylinder, and it's asking you to circle which one is a cylinder. Do you remember which one? Now, what in the world is that? But yes, it is this thingy, the roll of something. Now, the next one is a cube. Can you find the cubes? Yep, I see two. I see this block, and I see this dice. Good job. Now, down here, it's asking you to write the number of sides and the number of vertices, okay? So we're counting the sides and we're counting the corners, all right? So let's look at this guy, all right? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. And I'll show you what I did right there, okay? Now we're gonna do the corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. You see that? Good job, kiddos. Just like that. All right, we've got a pentagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. I like to put a line through them because I won't count them twice. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corners. Hexagon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vertices. I'll show you what I did there. Peasy, right, kiddos? Okay, guys, at the blue part down at the bottom, it says how many angles does this shape have? And we know that angles and vertices are very similar, right? So, an angle like your elbow, okay? So, how many elbows or corners does it have? I'm going to circle mine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 angles, right? And I'm going to put 5 on the line. Give me a high five if you got those right. Now, guys, if you'll turn the page, we're going to skip that page, and we're going to do the check on this page, okay? Now, it says Gina used these color tiles to cover the rectangles. How many square tiles did she use? And you just have to count those, okay? So, guys, we have faces, angles, and our tally chart, all review stuff. So whenever you finish that, you can send it to me. And if you want to pause right now and do that, you can do that, okay? Because we are going to move right along to, if you have a dry erase board or a pencil paper, whatever you want to do, okay? Now, here we go. Now, today for your cursive writing lesson, you had to use the word water in a 7-up sentence, okay? Now, we know 7 or more words, and take your time. So I'm going to write one. And we are writing in cursive to get better. And we always start with a what, guys? Capital letter and end with punctuation. Okay, so now I need to check myself. Did I start with a capital letter? Check. Do I have my punctuation? Check. Is it written in cursive? Check. Now I need to see if I've used 7 or more words. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 words, so we're good. Mine says, I took a sip of ice cold water. And I use those because we were talking about adjectives. So we're describing the water, right? So whenever you are writing your sentence, I encourage you and I challenge you to write a sentence that has those adjectives or those describing something, okay? So go ahead, you can pause this video again and write your sentence in cursive and then snap a picture and send it to me. All right, guys, let me put my marker away. Your flimsy book is next. And we are going to be on page 93, 9-3, okay? Now, on page 93, this is like a dictionary. Now, we've used in our hardback reader the glossary. We went to the back of our book and it has all the meanings of the words that we've looked at this year. Now, a dictionary is just a larger version of your glossary. A dictionary has most words that we would ever use and what they mean. Okay, so this is just a small dictionary entry. And we're going to look at this because we know that sometimes words can have 2 meanings, okay? So we're going to look at some different words that have more than one meaning. Then they're going to use them in a sentence and we're going to figure out which meaning went with it. Now I'm going to save you some writing because it says to write the definition. We're only going to put the number of the definition that goes with that, okay? So let's look at your dictionary entry. The first word I see is creature. Now, you see these big, bold numbers. So it looks like creature has 1, 2 meanings. The first meaning of creature is an animal. So if you want to call an animal a creature, it's the definition. Number 2, a strange or imaginary living thing, like the creature of the Black Lagoon, something like that. Okay? Now the next one is shuffle. And I see that it has 1, 2 meanings. The first meaning of shuffle is to walk without picking up your feet. So you shuffle your feet. Okay? The next one is to mix cards or papers so they are in a different order. Like whenever you play cards, you shuffle the deck so you don't have them in a particular order. Swallow. Well, now they have separated swallow into 2 different ones like this. Swallow 1 and then swallow 2. Swallow 1 says to make food or drink go down your throat. So I swallow the water. Number 2, a small bird with pointed wings and a tail with 2 points. So that's the second one. So instead of using those big, bold numbers this time, they just separated it with a tiny 1 and 2. Either way is fine. Next one is webbed. It looks like it has 1, 2 as well. Number 1, having skin that connects to the toes or the fingers, just like we talked about with penguins, right? Number 2, made of something that looks or feels like a web, kind of like a spider web, right? It's webbed. Now, we know in our glossary, we always stop at the ... because the rest of it, just like here, is an example sentence. It doesn't go with a definition. It just tells you how to use it. This one says, my purse has a webbed strap. So maybe it looks like webbed or feels kind of webbed like a spider web. Okay? Now, number 1, it says, Kim had to swallow her food before she could talk. So swallow with the throat. So we're going to go up here to swallow. Which one means swallow down your throat? Number 1, to make food or drink go down your throat. Or number 2, a small bird? Number 1. So down here, I'm going to put the sign for number. And I know a lot of you say hashtag, right? But that's the sign for number, and here's 1 because we went with definition number 1 for swallow instead of writing all that, okay? Because you have a journal entry today too, so we'll save your writing. Number 2, I shuffle the cards before we start the game. So we need to go to shuffle and figure out if 1 or 2 is the right one. The first one is to walk without picking up your feet. 2 is to mix cards or papers so they're in a different order. So 1 or 2? Show me. 2! So down here again, I'm going to put the number sign, and I'm going to put number 2. Okay, number 3. We saw a silly blue creature on TV. A silly blue creature. So we need to go back up to creature and figure out which one it is. Is it number 1, an animal? Do you know of any blue animals other than birds? It says a silly blue creature on TV. So let's see what the other one is. A strange or imaginary living thing. Show me, 1 or 2? 2. I think it would be a strange creature, right? And the last one says, frogs have webbed feet to help them swim and hop. So we have to go up here to webbed. Is it number 1, having skin that connects the toes or fingers? Or is it number 2, made of something that looks or feels like a web? Show me, 1 or 2? 1. So I'm going to put the number sign and number 1. How'd we do, kiddos? Double fist bump. I'm sure you guys did awesome. Okay, guys, we are finished with that. You get your hardback reader out. And today, our challenge, because it's been kind of cold lately, and we're talking about Antarctica, is I want to see you reading in your best built blanket fort. And instead of calling it a blanket fort, we're going to call it an igloo. We're going to make our own igloos, okay? And we're going to read our story in our igloos. So show me your best blanket fort, okay? And I'll post them on Facebook. So show me those and show me you reading under your blanket forts. And we will post those together, okay? So that's your reading challenge. After your reading challenge, kiddos, we have a journal entry today. I want you to pretend that you're either a penguin mom or a penguin dad. Girls, you're moms, and boys, you can be dads. And we are going to have a sentence starter, okay? If I were a penguin, and I know I put mother or father, but you know, they're both parents, aren't they? So if I were a penguin parent, because it doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl, if you're pretending to be a parent of a penguin. If I were a penguin parent instead of mother or father, I would, and if you still want to use mom for girls or father for boys, I don't care, whichever one. If I were a penguin parent, I would ... And ... is teacher talk for keep on going. So you can use any word you want. If I were a penguin parent, or if I were a penguin mother, or if I were a penguin father, I would, and I want you to tell me about your day. How would it go? What would you do during the day? Okay? And use some of those facts that you learned about our penguin parents from our Penguin Chick story. Okay? And I want you to illustrate and show me you as a penguin parent. Okay? I can't wait to see them. Guys, I love you and I miss you bunches. I got to see some of you all yesterday when we did our Zoom call. So hopefully next week when we do our Zoom call, you guys will be able to pop back on again so I can see you. I think Luna's snoring right next to me. So guys, enjoy your day. Enjoy building those blanket igloos, and I love you and miss you. Mwah.